Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And spoiler, we're doing a sequel to our episode from last week. We're doing Executioners, 1993 Executioners. Johnny Toe's back, and he's joined by another director. He's joined by I'm gonna try saying his name. Siu-tung, Siu-tung. He's
Yep.
joined by another director. Apologies if I messed up the name. But it's the heroic trio are back, and it's in a different setting,
Little
different tone.
bit. Little.
Uh, it's some you get some returns,
Mm-hmm.
you get some revelations,
Mm-hmm.
you get some people blowing up, you get people getting punched so hard that the fist almost goes through their body, and you see it like going through, like pushing against the skin.
I need to point out that there was one where a fist did go through the whole body.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's a very important a very important moment.
Yep. And,
Um, so it's I think a couple years later.
mm-hmm.
It's definitely a couple years later because Wonder Woman, Anita Moy, she's a mother now, and she has like probably a 4-year-old, to say 3 or 4-year-old.
Yeah, it comes off as like at first it was really like a little bit of like temporal displacement. Like I almost thought I'm like, was she like supposedly pregnant in the last movie? And I was like, is
Yeah,
that what we're insinuating here? Um but yeah, so she gets married and she ends up having a child, and Wonder Woman pledges to her husband, the Commissioner Lau, that Wonder Woman is no more, that she is full-time wifey
she's
and
Mother Woman.
full-time wifey and full-time mommy. Um, but, she still sneaks it in, and I love the little part with her and her daughter on the street, and they both quickly say to each other, knowing the situation, going, "Don't tell Daddy,"
Yeah.
which I think is funny. Um, so we're following.
Oh, by the way, the city got nuked.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's there was a nuclear bomb that went off, or I guess we're in a nuclear holocaust at this point.
Yeah, we're in like a post-apocalyptic world now where the water is
It's radiated.
yes.
But there's a guy who figures out a way to either find or make clean water, and he's going full on capitalist. But there's a reason for it, and I think the reasoning is really interesting, and I think it's funny because it really links back to like comic books a little bit, and it's very much in line with that. But we have Thief Catcher, who Chan Chat,
Yeah, Maggie Chung.
Maggie Chung. She's back, and
She's still thieving.
she's still thieving and catching thieves as well occasionally.
Yeah, she's still doing her thing.
And we still have Invisible Girl,
Yeah, played by Michelle Yeoh.
but she's not invisible.
No,
She's just super powered
she's just kung fu badass.
and
Driving a lot.
and was it Gal?
Gal or Cow, he's back.
Yeah, he's back, but
He's-
you
he's-
don't really see him.
Yeah, he's a mutant because Anthony Wong is playing multiple roles.
Yeah,
He plays the villain, the masked man,
and he's incredible.
or faceless monster. That's his name.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
It-
vile in this.
it's so when
he
I
plays
watched
Gal,
it.
and he also plays Mr. Kim.
Yeah, when I watched it, first thought I saw when we see the faceless monster is this is like Phantom of the Opera and like Vega vibes.
It's because he has the outfit, and also the music's kind of like Victorian, kind of like
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera style.
It's great, but I linked it because he has a similar mask to Wonder Woman. I think he grabs a Wonder Woman mask, and that's what
yeah.
he wears.
I didn't put those together.
It's like that half mask, and that when that comes up later, he gets very interested because of the mask part.
Yeah.
Um,
So Anthony Wong has a lot more to do. There's also the character of Tak.
yeah, Brother
Uh,
Tak.
yeah, he's introduced to this. And he's kind of like
He's the foil for Thief
yeah,
Catcher,
yes,
and ultimately a partner. And then hilarity ensues.
yeah, and he's also kind of a guardian because at some point, Wonder Woman's daughter is
Mm-hmm.
with Thief Catcher and Tak.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in this like gravel wasteland kind of thing going
They
on.
they end up searching for water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I will say about the film that is very different from this film, from the Heroic Trio, is the tone is very different. It's not as like goofy. There's some dark stuff to it.
Yeah.
It's a little more grim and a lot more like. And sometimes it felt like I was watching a gangster movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time I think
a lot of betrayals.
A lot of betrayals, and a lot of people like the Heroic Trio are not really together much in the movie. They're very spread apart.
I think that's one of the themes in the movie. Is, there's a point early on that Invisible Girl says, like, if all three of us work together, we could fix this.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman at the time is still like,
oh, mother,
no, I can't.
I swore off it.
Yeah, I can't do it. And I love the vibe of the three women and the child. Like, it's such a cool, like, warm family vibe.
Yeah, Thief Catcher is kind of Michelle Yeoh is trying to atone and she's trying to fix the problems and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman doesn't really want anything to do with it. She's like, I moved on from that stuff. I want to be a mother with my husband. And that's it. And Thief Catcher's like, I'm just going to do my same thing, but she's in a more bigger story now to where she can't really do her small time gigs anymore. She's kind of like in a bigger picture now.
She's very Robin Hood in this.
Yes.
And this movie, I just put it together. It's very Tank Girl.
Yes. With less iced tea.
With less iced tea and kangaroo fighters,
and more people blowing up.
Yeah, so she like will steal the clean water and then give it away, right? And the other big subplot in the movie is the tension in the marriage of Commissioner Lau and Anita Mui.
Yeah.
Her character. And seeing like she's doing her best, but it doesn't, like, he's not recognizing it and he's under a lot of stress, and it's believable but not like over the top, like just kind of jerk behavior. He just says the wrong thing multiple times, and there's moments where you see him kind of reflect and like kind of it tinges a little bit of pain in him that he realizes like, ugh, I messed up again.
Yeah.
But it's still like they still go at each other at times. Like she's very understanding, but like they still have this tension underneath.
And there's also another subplot of like it's a little bit more political.
Yeah, so the politics of it is,
and more war involved.
We have like the president, and then we have the guy who controls the water, and then you have this messianic public face of that guy, which gives a little bit of that, like, what was it, like Far Cry 5 vibe, with this, like, this man of the people, and it's threatening the government control, and it's a lot of that intertwined as well. It's a really, like, interesting, complex plot that all kind of centers around the same things, though. It really works.
Yeah.
I feel like it sounds like a lot to take in, but it really does, I think, work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's very different from the Heroic Trio. The Heroic Trio was very focused on mysticism a little bit and weird cult thing going on.
Yeah.
This one's very like it's interpolitical.
It's very grounded.
It's very gunplay. It's very war. It's very like
the
dourness. Very
that early scene of the woman dragging her husband's body into the department and what happens. It's so like that's such like a heavy part, and it's not like it's heavy as in like really plot heavy, but it's this thing that drives home like this is a very serious thing, and it's the film is trying to say things about capitalism and like that kind of thinking and that drive that people will have and the greediness that some people will have. It's this is a little bit different, but it still has that little flair here and there.
There's a lot more. There's two particular gut punches of characters dying. Let's just say they die, and you're like, oh, especially at the end. You're like, oh, yeah. I did not see that one coming. It's pretty awesome moment, like a big old fu to another character. It's pretty cool. It's definitely well earned, but you feel bad at the end of there's a moment where someone dies near the end that you're like, man.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, and there's like really interesting kind of relationships that develop throughout the film, and really kind of interesting dynamics that kind of ebb and flow, and it really works well. It's like a really natural progression. I think,
and then you have the kind of connective tissue is the daughter.
Yeah.
And who's great. She's, the child actress, they might be not that great. She's great in this.
Yeah, well, they don't give her a lot.
No. And that's all I need to know.
Yeah, they give her the certain moments and scenes, and it works.
Yeah. So, Joe, I guess the question I have to... Oh, before we start this, we have to talk about the China Entertainment on how the music definitely is Superman.
It's the first the first few notes is Superman from the 70s, and then it continues and it goes in its own direction. But it feels like we watched the first one. I think we both independently, we didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But I think we both independently were like, "Oh, that was weird. That sounded familiar."
Yeah.
And then this one, I texted you and I was like, "Dude, I just watched." I realize what it's from. It's Superman.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that does sound like Superman.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah. But anyway, that side note aside, would you recommend this film?
Yeah, I think both of them are great for like a double feature.
Yeah.
And
they're very different to where they're not like, oh, it's just Heroic Trio 2. This one's the Executioners, Heroic Trio 2.
Yeah, and I think it's worth watching. And they're not... hardcore like this is cinema, right? It allows itself to be fun and to be kind of goofy, and it doesn't apologize for it. It lives in it, and it's better for it.
Yeah. I also recommend it. Both these films are super fun. I'm definitely gonna buy the collection. If you're like, I want to check it out before I buy it, it's on the Criterion channel. Both of them are on the Criterion channel. Check it out. So that's our thoughts on Executioners, and also last week's episode for Heroic Trio. They're kind of a twofer there. Let us know in the comment section below. What do you think? Is there any other films we have to do that are in this vein? I know The Killer is one that we have done. We have done Hard Boiled. We've done all kinds of kung fu. I know there's the Bruce Lee collection that we kind of like only did like one movie on. So let us know. Make suggestions. Follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. Check us out on Letterboxd. There's a little list called Criterion Connection. All the movies we have done are on there. See how many you've seen so far, and try watching all of them. And then watching, or you can watch the videos here and then check them out, or vice versa, whichever you want to do. And also be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Spread the word of this channel. So I think that's it. Until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we'll see you later.